All right, good morning, Chair Postman, board members and staff. The lobby is open and the meeting recording has begun.
Great, thank you, Dustin. Good morning, everybody. I'll call to order the Wednesday, September 1, 2021 meeting of the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board meeting. I'm David Postman, the board chair. With us today are board members Russell Hauge and Ollie Garrett. Our first order of business today is approval of meeting minutes. These are the minutes from the August 18th, 2021 board meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
I will move approval of those minutes.
And a second?
This is Ollie. I second.
Great, thank you. And those are approved. Thank you. We're going to move the agenda around just a little bit here to accommodate some schedules. And so the next item we will hear from Audrey Vasek, our Policy and Rules Coordinator for Alcohol, on alcohol-related rulemaking timelines. Ms. Vasek.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Postman, board members Garrett and Hauge. I have a couple brief updates on alcohol rulemaking timelines today. So first, for the rule project to implement 2021 legislation, House Bill 1480, related to the COVID-19 alcohol allowances, the internal rule drafting work group is nearing completion of its review of the feedback and comments we received at the first Listen and Learn session on August 5th on the alcohol to go endorsement portion of the rules. We met yesterday to consider revisions to that portion of the rules, and a new draft should be ready for review soon. A second Listen and Learn session on the portion of the rules related to outdoor alcohol service areas and food service menu requirements is scheduled for tomorrow, Thursday, September 2nd. Information about the event and how to attend is available on the LCB rules webpage and was sent through GovDelivery subscribers on August 17th, as well as a reminder email earlier this morning. I encourage anyone who's interested in this subject to join the event. We've already received a couple comments related to the second Listen and Learn session through email, and after that session is done, I'll compile all the feedback we receive into a new comment table, and the internal work group will meet again to review and consider revisions based on that feedback. Once the draft language is closer to rule proposal form, we also plan to survey or interview licensees to gather information to help estimate potential compliance costs of the new rule requirements. This information will help us meet Regulatory Fairness Act requirements as we prepare the CR 102, which I anticipate bringing for the board to consider in late September or early October. On the horizon, as I've mentioned previously, I'm also beginning to plan for a new rulemaking project related to axe throwing at liquor license premises, and a kickoff meeting with the internal LCB staff on the rule project team is scheduled for next week to begin determining scope of the project, potential timeline, and next steps. I anticipate a CR 101 could be ready for the board to consider in late September, early October. That concludes my alcohol rulemaking updates for today, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
One quick one for me. On the 1480 rulemaking, did you say that 103 in October?
The 102.
102.
So we've currently filed the CR 101 on May 12th. So the next step would be to file a formal rule proposal.
If we're on track, then when would we be all done? When would we have final on a 103 for 1480 implementation?
It could be as early as the end of the year. That's our current target, would be end of December.
Okay.
That timeline could change depending on if we need to file a supplemental CR 102, depending on the feedback we receive. That would extend the timeline out further.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Ms. Vasek on alcohol rulemaking? Seeing none, thank you. Appreciate that. And I think we will stick with rulemaking timelines now and call on Jeff Kildall, the Policy and Rules Coordinator on the cannabis side. And then we also have one action item in his agenda today. So, Mr. Kildall.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Postman and board members Garrett and Hauge. Here's a brief update on cannabis rules in progress today, September 1st, 2021. Starting with the cannabis quality control rules, we continue to work with the economists from IEC. We have now completed 2 scheduled weekly meetings. As part of that work, we sent an invitation via Gov delivery this past Monday, seeking interview participants to help us understand producer-processor perspectives beyond the deliberative dialogues we held earlier this year. We are seeking up to 25 licensed cannabis producers and processors across the state, representing all tiers and methods of production, to participate in 1-hour interviews with The Economist. So far, we have received approximately 30 responses. Additionally, we anticipate hosting a listen and learn session on or about October 15th, putting our CR 102 proposal at approximately December 8th, 2021. With respect to the cannabis license applicant background check program, I will present the CR 103 rule package to you during the next agenda item. And finally, with respect to the THC compound evaluation rule project, a listen and learn forum is scheduled for September 9th from 9 to 11 a.m. Messaging went out last week via Gov delivery, and to date, no pre-forum feedback has been provided on the conceptual draft rules that were offered with the messaging. We remain on track to bring a CR 102 package to you on September 29th, and that will set a public hearing for November 10th. And this concludes my update for today. May I answer any questions?
None for me. Quick call. No, I don't see any others. Okay. Thank you for that. And why don't we go ahead and move into then the action item, and then we'll move back to the other parts of the agenda. So if you want to present that, Jeff, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. This morning, I would like to request your approval to file a CR 103 to adopt permanent rules that revise and more fully describe the background check review process for cannabis license applicants and renewing licensees. This rule moves toward creation of socially equitable conditions for individuals who have been disproportionately impacted by marijuana cannabis criminalization by redesigning the existing point system and review process in an effort to reduce barriers to entry in the legal cannabis market. For a brief procedural history on this particular rulemaking, we filed a CR 101 for this project on February 17th, 2021. As part of the rule development process, a public listen and learn session was planned for May 13th, 2021, but was rescheduled and held on June 1st. The session was attended virtually by approximately 25 people. Attendees of the listen and learn sessions shared a small amount of feedback on the draft conceptual rules. The CR 102 was approved and then filed on July 7th, 2021, and the public hearing on these rules was held on October 18th. No comments have been received on these rules, and the rules before you today for approval have not changed since the original proposal. If approved for filing today, the rules would become effective 31 days from today on October 2nd, 2021. I would ask for your approval to file this CR 103 today. And thank you, and may I answer any questions?
Any questions or comments on this proposal before we call for a vote from the board?
I have no questions. Thank you, Jeff. Very clear.
Member Garrett, just want to check.
No question.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Mr. Kildall. I think you did exceptional work on this. Every time you report that we haven't gotten comments, it sort of perplexes me a little bit, but I think that's a sign of the thoroughness that your group does in reaching out to people in this process. It's really great. I think it's a important step forward. You know, you said this, but just to stress, you know, this is a step toward a more, you know, socially equitable system, and it shows that we continue to evolve and adjust the 502 system to keep making it better. So I appreciate that work, and I think we have a lot more to do in this area, but this is a step that we're able to take with our existing authority, and we did it. So I think that's great. And with that, I'll ask for a motion to approve the final approval for the CR 103 regarding amendments to WAC 314-55-040 on criminal history.
I will move that we adopt the CR 103 as presented on criminal history background checks.
And this is Ali. I second.
That's great. Then that is approved. Thank you very much, Mr. Kildall.
Thank you, Chair Postman.
And we will now move back up the agenda for public health and education update with Sarah Cooley-Broschert. And I just want to say we've been invited her to talk to us today because unfortunately she'll be leaving the LCB after about a little more than 2 years. And so this will be her final public health and prevention update for us. And just want to say, Sarah, in your 2 years here, it's clear you've been a consistent and strong voice for public health and prevention. In my short time here, you've made a huge difference in my education and awareness of these issues. And, as I tried to get up to speed and to live up to the commitment of my predecessors, Chair Jane Rushford, and her priority of public health. So with that, I'll turn it over to you for a minute. And if you're with us, I think so. Oh, there you are. Okay, great. All right, go ahead, Sarah.
Hi, yeah, thanks so much. And good morning, Chair Postman, board members, Hauke, Garrett. As Chair Postman said, it's with incredibly mixed emotions that I let everybody know, the public as well, that I have accepted a position as the director of a brand new CDC-funded center to support states and communities in implementing population-level prevention strategies that address alcohol use. So I will be the 4 substances that we deal with at LCB. I'll be able to focus again on just one, which is a luxury that those of us at LCB haven't had. The center is yet to be named, so I don't have an exact name for all of you, but I will let you guys know as soon as I have it. But basically the idea is that we will be the bridge between all the data and research that comes out and is well known and documented, and the communities and decision makers who are looking for support for policy change. And as we all know, we at LCB have many times been in that position where we're saying, where's the data? What does the research say? And we either may not have it or don't have a great way of translating it and representing it. So I'm really excited to kind of be filling that gap. It's a gap that not only us at LCB have been aware of, but like across the field of prevention and public health. So really exciting that the CDC is finally investing in that. And as you said, my last day at LCB will be this Friday, which is coming up really quickly. I just actually wanted to take the time today to formally thank you and the leadership and just all the folks that I've worked with at my time at LCB for a great 2.5 years. I've just loved working with all of you and thinking through. It's such challenging work with such emerging issues. And we're always learning a lot along the way. And coming from a public health and prevention background, especially in nonprofits and universities, it's just been so informative to see firsthand how regulators and the regulatory process works. I think, as we all know at LCB, the challenges, but it's really hard to, understand when you're not in it. So I'm really thankful to have that experience and bring that knowledge with me and hopefully help folks along the way in my new role. And I also just want to say that LCB, I always say this, has done a commendable job integrating public health lens into decision making at the top levels and just kind of all the way down. As I always point out, Washington is one of 5 states in the nation that has a public health professional on staff. And I know Rick and others are working to change that. Oregon just recently brought somebody on board. So hopefully the idea will continue to spread as the public health piece is really recognized. And I just do want to be clear that I wasn't looking for a job. I've been super happy at LCB. They came to me. I was very wishy-washy about it, and it was a very tough decision. But in the end, I felt like the Sarah in 5 years was going to be regretting that I didn't take the national position. So I just, again, have loved this work, collaborating with the many agencies and, LCB, but also the great collaborations at organizations and agencies. We have great relationships at LCB, and thanks to my predecessors and you all for starting those. And again, one of the highlights just that I have been able to work on the vape-associated lung injury response for LCB, which was just an amazing opportunity for leadership and to see how processes happen kind of even above LCB and state government decision-making. And again, thanks to the rules team and Kathy for collaborating with me to really, excuse me, bring public health folks into the process. And we still have some more work to do there. And I know you'll continue with it, but I think we've seen a lot of great gains in the engagement that we have with public health and prevention folks. So I will be fully remote, but I'm staying put in Washington. So I really look forward to continuing to work with all of you at LCB in my new role. I'm happy to be a resource for all of that public health, alcohol research kind of stuff that you may need along the way, and really be looking to you all too as a resource and to share the experience that you've had of putting public health in the spotlight as an agency. I really think that some of the decisions that you guys have made here at LCB are, as I said, commendable and really should be the benchmarks for states across the nation. So thank you guys very much. I know I'll be leaving this. I know we have a lot of great candidates for my position, and we just had the first review, I think, is happening this week, but it's still open. So anybody tuning in, if you're interested, I could be happy to talk to you about the great experience that I've had at LCB. And also, I'm going to be helping bring this person up to speed and make sure that none of the great work and collaborations we've had along the past many years are left behind. So best of luck, and definitely keep in touch, and really just a really heartfelt and full thank you. It's really tough to be leaving this job when I've had so many connections with you at the board, at the agency, and across our collaborators, and not have that face-to-face or personal touch. So thank you for allowing me to at least speak from my heart right now at the board meeting, and thank you all very much.
Absolutely. Hold on one second. I'll see if either of the other board members have parting questions or comments for you.
Oh, I'd just like to say that, Sarah, it's been a real pleasure working for you, with you, and you leave a big hole that I hope we'll be able to at least partially fill. And really, good luck taking the step to the next level. I think that's good use of your talents, and I appreciate all you've done here. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Sarah, this is Ali, the same. Gonna miss you and enjoyed working with you, and I wish you success on your new adventure.
Great, thanks, Holly. Sarah, they could name it the Sarah Cooley Brochert Center for Alcohol Abuse Research. You could make that part of your job negotiation. Thank you as well for the time you've done here, for what you've done throughout your career, and also I know you'll be able to keep helping us in some ways as a member of that community, and appreciate the work also that you continue to do helping us to find a replacement. As Member Hauge said, we don't think we'll replace you, but we'll have somebody new in the spot, and they will get up to speed. And just so everyone knows, there is no lagging of the commitment of this agency to the area of public health and prevention. It is unfortunate. It's a mixed blessing always when we have people that are so great, other people want to come and cherry pick them. So we get that, but that's okay. And it's a long-standing commitment of the agency, and it will continue to be so. So thank you again, and good luck with it. All right. Have a good day. All right. And now we are back to our agenda item. This is number 6. We will have general public comment. And just as a reminder, one, everything's being recorded and it'll be available on the website. We ask you to state your name and affiliation for the record. And then be mindful of the time. You have 4 minutes, and at 30 seconds, Dustin will give you a heads up that you're just about out of time, and excuse the interruption, but we will then end it after the 4 minutes. The first person I have on the list today is Cheryl Murray Powell.
Hi there. Good morning, everyone. My name is Cheryl Murray Powell, Esquire. I'm a cannabis, agricultural, and dietary supplement attorney. I've worked with legislators and municipalities agencies across the country with regards to cannabis legalization. I was also the first general counsel for Minorities for Medical Marijuana, and I am also the business development manager for Creative Services Inc., CSI, and we are a background screening company that's been in existence for 45 years. So I just wanted to join today and commend you on your changes to the rules to make your Washington state cannabis industry more inclusive and, as stated before, more equitable. I think your amendments to the background check rules that you've adopted today have accomplished the goal of being more clear. Of course, CSI, we're always interested in working with cannabis commissions and cannabis boards with regards to how they execute seamlessly these types of changes. We are based in Massachusetts. We do have a contract with the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission. So we have a lot of experience working in this area. And myself, as a cannabis agriculture and dietary supplement attorney for a number of years, I also have experience. So I just want to say it's very clear where your hearts and minds were in this implementation. Thank you for representing the state of Washington so well and for keeping in mind that the best type of cannabis industry is an inclusive cannabis industry. Thank you so much.
That's great. Thank you. Appreciate that. And then the next person we have lined up is Jim McCrae.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can see you and I can hear you. Go
Wonderful.
ahead.
This works so much better than a couple of weeks ago. Different browser. Okay, two things I want to talk about briefly. The criminal history report stuff, I'm sorry that I was unable to give oral testimony on that a couple of weeks ago when I tried to. When I heard that there had been no public input, I opted at the end not to do the written stuff. I appreciate the opportunity to do it a little bit later. I just didn't capitalize on that. What I was going to say was not going to materially impact the rules, but I wanted to caution the board that if there's a desire, particularly in the next year or two, to delegate authority for administering that to staff, I would recommend that you not do that. Because if nothing else, one of the things those rules do, in addition to supposedly removing some unnecessary barriers to people that have been differentially impacted in the past, it certainly can do that if it's administered well. It can also open the door, and does open the door, to basically forgiving people who were granted licenses that have criminal histories that should have denied them granting of licenses. And that is the case in at least one instance, and I believe with agency knowledge. So you might want to ask staff about that. But presumably now, those people will be able to use the decision that the courts did on that was used in the true party of interest rule change to do it retroactively, to basically be forgiven for their prior sins. So they effectively get out of jail free card. Now, the irony for this is the process that's just been put in place, and purportedly a social equity mitigation strategy is, or from a policy perspective, is to put in more administrative layers. You can challenge these things. You can bring a lawyer in. You can pay that other $10 to $50 to $100,000 to get a decision and to be administratively judged. And that is an expensive process, and it is one that is differentially not available to the very people that this rule is supposed to help. So please keep personal oversight over this for a while, at least. Make sure it's working right. It's a dangerous thing, I think. The other thing I want to talk about is the CCRS thing. Please do not allow this to go forward without interactive public comment. I know that you're not even required to do public comment when you develop a new system, supposedly, and put it out there, but there should be interactive ability here. I do not understand why you're not doing it, other than you do not want it, or that someone within the agency does not want it. You've had lots of meetings where there've been lots of people talk. You've been able to accommodate them. Sometimes you even shut it down to 3 minutes instead of 4 minutes. And I appreciate this 4 minutes now. But that system, one thing that it will do is it will eliminate the ability of the agency, if it's implemented with what little we've heard already, it will eliminate the ability of the agency to do industry-wide normative scoring of things. You won't be able to identify outliers because you need all the data together to be able to identify outliers. It's just the way data work. I'm amazed that it's actually proposed to go down this path. If they're pulling the old contingency reporting system out of the closet to enable this, please understand that that never worked. That was hundreds of thousands of disorganized spreadsheets and PDF files and CSVs that I don't believe the agency was ever able to compile into an information source. If you go this way, 30 seconds?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. If you go down this path, you're effectively going to blind not only the agency to those data, but to external parties that I think have repeatedly shown to be positive for the public good, public safety, consumer safety by having access to that data and being able to out things when they're bad. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I thought there was some sort of committee on CCRS, but we'll find out, and we'll follow up on that. This brings us to the end of our agenda. I'll just pause to see if board members have anything to add, or seeing none there. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we will adjourn the September 1 meeting of the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board meeting. We will talk to you next week.